David just became more like stronger in the Lord and more wise, and that just made Saul hate him even more. Then the princes of the Philistines went forth, and it came to pass after they went forth that David behaved himself more wisely than all the servants of Saul, so that his name was much set by. Now in chapter 19, we're going to read a few verses in that, but this is now Saul's third attempt to kill David. And Saul spake to Jonathan his son and to all of his servants that they should kill David, and Jonathan Saul's son delighted much in David. So David's, in this chapter, we'll just do kind of like a summary of it. Saul wanted to kill David again, and this time Jonathan knew about it because he was in his presence when they were talking about it. And Jonathan and David were very close, and it kind of upset Jonathan. And he asked his dad, why are you doing this thing? And he never really told him or anything. But at this time now, David had to basically flee from. Come on in.
It's Micah.
What's up, Micah?
What's up, buddy? You brought me pizza?
Nothing, so I'm hungry.
You brought me pizza?
Yes, I did.
Oh, dude, awesome. I'll probably have some. But
Is Abby here?
No. I killed her.
Not again.
she comes in.
The ghost now?
Deadpool Dan?
Pretty much.
What's up, Abby?
Of course, Deadpool doesn't really die. He just.
So you're taking over now, Abby. You have to take over now.
No.
Are you sure?
No.
Oh, come on, man.
We're doing a line where everyone gives like a mini sermon and everyone's gone. So
You have the same skirt on as
you
Joy.
came in at like
Are you
perfect
serious?
time.
We're all
Abby, we're matching. We were so cool.
Watch that purse, Lil.
That's my purse. There's nothing.
It's like
Nothing
every
important.
single time one of y'all wears that skirt is the only time
I
the other
knew.
person wears
I
that skirt.
kind of had a feeling.
Here, you can actually sit here if you want. I'll sit in this
Oh,
chair.
because you're psychic, right?
Here, Abby, you can sit right by me.
Oh.
If you'll fit. Okay.
Look at this little tiny thing she fit.
You're gonna sit in that.
She's gonna fit.
That was not sound good. Oh, you're bringing up chair? Okay, good. I don't have to sit there.
Such a gentleman.
Awesome. So we're just doing like a little recap of David and Saul in Samuel. I just talked about David killing Goliath and how he became kind of like heir to the throne, and also that he was very he was basically the right hand man of Saul, and now Saul hates him because of that. Because everybody respected David so much more than they respected Saul, who was the king. And now David's basically having to flee from Israel because of it. And so let's see where I was. Let's go to verse 7 of chapter 19. And it says, and Jonathan called David, and Jonathan shewed him all these things. And Jonathan brought David to Saul, and when he was in his presence, as in times past. And there was war again, and David went out and fought with the Philistines, and slew with him a great slaughter, and they fled from him. And the evil spirit from the Lord was upon Saul, and as he sat in his house with his javelin in his hand, and David played with his hand. So, at this point, David had to flee from Saul's presence multiple times, and since Saul was the king, he kept having to go back into his presence, and as soon as he summoned him, he had to come to Saul and play his harp, and he couldn't really say anything about it. He just had to be okay with it. But this time he was really afraid that that he was going to die, as anybody would be. I would be, because this evil spirit had taken over in Saul's life, and he wanted David dead. And verse 10, and Saul sought to smite David even to the wall with the javelin, but he slipped away out of Saul's presence, and he smote the javelin into the wall, and David fled and escaped that night. Saul also sent messengers unto David's house. So now David fled to his house at this point, to where him and his wife, which is Saul's daughter, were at. And verse 12. So Michal. Oh, okay. Let's read a little bit of the half of verse 11. And Michal, David's wife, told him, saying, If thou save not thy life tonight, tomorrow thou shalt be slain. So Michal let David down through a window, and he went and fled and escaped. And Michal took an image and laid it in the bed, and put a pillow of goat's hair for his bolster, and covered it with a cloth. So basically, he did what we would do now, if we didn't want our mom to see us in the room anymore. We'd put a bunch of pillows, and we'd, not that we've ever done that, right? But we put a bunch of pillows, and then we, pretend like we're sleeping. That's what they had to do. They had to deceive Saul so much because they knew something was wrong with him, that the spirit was upon him, but they didn't want David to die. Now this was his own daughter and David's wife. And when the messengers were come in, behold, there was an image in the bed with a pillows of goat's hair for his bolster. And Saul said unto Michal, Why hast thou deceived me so, and sent away mine enemy, that he is escaped? And Michal answered Saul, and he said unto me, Let me go. Why should I kill
You can
thee?
have some, I don't care.
So David fled and escaped, and came to Samuel to Ramah, and told him all that Saul had done. And Samuel had went to dwell in Naoth. So Samuel was not in Israel at this time. He was in like just a different province because